watching Gearz.
You know, it goes without saying that our economy has been pretty rough over the last few years. And nobody has felt that more than the new car manufacturers, because people just aren't buying new cars and trucks like they used to. And part of the main reason for that is they're not building the stuff we want. And when they do build the stuff we want, it's too expensive. Now, to help solve this problem, we approached Ford, Chevy, and Dodge a while back to try to convince them to come out with a base muscle car that anybody can afford. We're talking something with roll-up windows and V8 power and a cheap price tag and a seriously bad attitude. I mean, something like Plymouth did in '68 with the Roadrunner. Unfortunately, all the manufacturers shot that idea down. It seems they want to keep the profit margin as high as possible on those muscle cars, which takes us back to the original problem. So we got to thinking, if we can't do it with a car, maybe we could do it with a truck. So we called up the guys at Chrysler and hooked up with the Ram truck division. Fortunately, the guys at Ram are real gearheads like you and I, and they had been secretly developing a truck that was going to be fast and cool. And we all agreed that it also needed to be cheaper than any V8 powered car or truck on the market. And it needed to be something that a guy could modify and tweak on and make his own. The result? The Ram 1500 Express. Yeah, you heard right. The Express is back. But the new Ram Express is a lot different than the little red Express from the '70s. Oh, it's a regular cab short bed like the original, and has a V8 like the original. But the new Express is packing a 390 horse Hemi that pulls down 20 miles to the gallon and comes with dual exhaust and 20-inch wheels too. Yeah, smoking. However, the really big news is the price tag. As you can see, the base price of the new Express is $23,800, which is a bargain in itself. But if you add the dealer incentives of $1,000 off here, $1,000 off here for trade-in, you can drive one of these things off the lot for a little over $21,000. Now, to give you some perspective, a base V8 Challenger, Camaro, or Mustang is going to run you right at $30,000. That's almost a $10,000 difference. That is what I'm talking about. This is the kind of bargain that Americans need to help us get back on our feet. But it gets better than just this. Mopar's got over 300 accessories for this vehicle, and there's a huge aftermarket out there, so you can take one of these things and build it into exactly what you want it to be. So we're going to show you the incredible potential of a truck like this, and at the same time give all those high-dollar muscle cars a serious run for their money. Okay, the first thing that we're going to focus on is the exterior of this truck. Try to give it a little more muscle car vibe. So we need to get a cool hood on here. And fortunately, there's a lot of choices out there in the aftermarket, from fiberglass to steel. We wanted a steel hood. So we went to Mopar and got this all-steel performance hood. As you can see, it's not only steel on the outside, but it also has a complete metal inner structure just like the original hood. But the best part is, it's got this power bulge here with twin scoops just like the Challenger. Unfortunately, just like the Challenger, the scoops are fake, and we don't like that. What's the purpose of having scoops if they're fake? So what we did is take the inserts, cut out the blank, and take some screen, fabricate a screen, and then glued it in with some JB Weld, and with just a little bit of time, you have a fully functional hood scoop. Now, obviously, this hood doesn't come completely painted. They come in primer, and even though they're new, they could use a little bit of body work. So we shipped this one off to the guys at Milestone Custom Paint and Body, and had them work a little magic on it to get it nice and smooth. Then we hooked up with Color Match and had him mix up a batch of the factory red color, and Milestone shot it on the hood. Now, since this hood has a great shape to it, we wanted to try to bring out some of those contours. So we had Milestone paint some black accents on the hood, and as you can see, they look really cool. If you're needing some paint or quality restoration work done, check them out at milestonepaint.com. All right, installing the new hood is just a matter of unbolting the stock one, transferring all the hardware to the new hood, and bolting it in place. Yeah, what a difference that makes. And unlike our Challenger brethren, our hood scoops are functional. Now, with its monochromatic paint scheme, there's not a whole lot of polish on this truck, but there are some places where it could use some, like this old school gas filler door with its finger dent to open it. Fortunately, Mopar has got a chrome door that bolts right in place of this stalker and is very similar to what's on the new Challenger. Welcome back to Gearz and the introduction of the Ram 1500 Express. Now, the idea here was to get a Hemi-powered truck into the hands of enthusiasts for just a hair over 20,000 bucks. And what you're looking at is the very first one. But by the time you see this show, you're going to be able to trot down to your local dealership and bag one of these things yourself. Now, the idea behind the Express is not just an affordable truck with 390 horsepower, although that's really nice. No, it's also to supply the enthusiasts with the proper canvas so they can modify it and tweak on it and make it exactly what they want it to be. Definitely a modern take on the old Roadrunner idea. Of course, one of the benefits to having a truck is you've got a bed to carry stuff in. One of the drawbacks, though, is you toss things in the bed and it rolls around when you're driving down the road. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to control that and utilize this space a little better? Well, you can, and we're going to show you how. Okay, the first thing that you're going to need is some sort of a bed liner. Instead of going with the typical drop-in plastic bed liner, we're going with this thing called the bed rug. Now, this not only protects your bed, but it's also waterproof, and it's got a thick pad underneath that fits right into the grooves of the bed so you don't bust your knees up when you crawl around on it. Now, it also has a flap that goes clear back onto the tailgate, and you've got this area here that allows you to close the tailgate. The best part is the bed rug is custom made for your bed, so it literally just drops in place and seals under the bed sides, around the wheel wells, and everywhere else, so it basically fits your bed like a glove. Simple Velcro strips hold it in place so you can remove it whenever you want. As you can see, the bed rug will completely change the way that you'll be able to use your bed. There might even be those that try to convince you to let them ride back here. The answer is still no. Come on, boy, let's go. Now, like I said before, one of the biggest problems that you're going to face with your bed is that your cargo is going to want to roll all over the place. And all cargo is not created equal. Carrying a bike or a surfboard is a lot different than carrying boxes and bags. But there is a way to handle it all, and that's with this simple racking system. Using the supplied template, drill your holes and mount the threaded inserts. Then, with a few holes punched in the bed rug, you'll be able to quickly mount the rails to the bed sides. Now, if you need to haul some big pieces like a hood, adjustable crossbars slide right into the rails. If you want to carry a bike, A special mount slides right in place to keep your bikes from banging against the side of the bed. Need to carry boxes or bags? You can also get this divider that mounts anywhere on the rails to keep things from rolling around or allows you to keep things separated from each other. The best part is when you don't need the rails, everything comes off in just a couple of minutes. Hey, Domino, what are you doing? Hey, you're watching Gearz and the introduction of Ram's new hot rod truck for the masses, the Hemi-powered Express. The idea? To supply a short bed, regular cab, V8 powered truck for cheap money that a guy can then take and modify and make his own. Now, we've already put a lot of really cool stuff on this rig, from a custom hood to bed accessories to a bed rug. Now we're gonna do something to protect our investment back here. Because even though the bed rug is waterproof, you really don't want it sitting out in the weather all the time. And it's nice to be able to lock up the junk in your bed. And the only way to do that is with some sort of tonneau cover. For this project, we definitely wanted something versatile. So we got this tri-fold tonneau cover from Mopar. Now this thing features a metal frame. It's got this heavy-duty canvas type material attached to it, and the frame folds into 3 separate sections. So you can fold the cover up when you want to carry big cargo and don't have to take off the tonneau cover. Then of course when you want to lock everything up, you just seal it down. So we have a lockable cover that looks good. It folds up in sections or completely removes in just a few seconds and is the perfect way to finish off a bed that you intend to use. Now at this point, I know there's some of you guys that are probably thinking, you know, that is a good-looking truck, but I wouldn't call this a high-performance vehicle. That's because you haven't quite realized the incredible potential of a package like this. I mean, there's things in the aftermarket that can take a hot little express truck like this and turn it into something like a fire-breathing Dragon Wagon, which is exactly what we're gonna do, but not today. You gotta wait for another show for that. You know, a few weeks ago, we had the opportunity to show you the very first Ram 1500 Express pickup, and people just went crazy because it's a short bed, regular cab, stripped down, Hemi-powered truck that anybody can afford. Now, usually when a manufacturer makes a performance vehicle like this, they jack the price up and call it limited edition. That's not the case with the Express. No, the idea here from Ram was to give you real performance at a cheap price in a base truck so then you could take it and do whatever you wanted with it. It's the old Roadrunner idea all over again. People are snapping these things up like hotcakes. Now with our truck, we've already put on a custom hood, put on a tonneau cover, bed rug, racks and stuff to make it more usable. Today we're going to concentrate on the performance aspect of a vehicle like this and show you that it is possible to take a base truck and have it run with the high-dollar SS Camaros, SRT8 Challengers, Shelby Mustangs, even Corvettes. First, we need a name for this thing. So we took some of the magic of the original Super Bee and spliced it together with the DNA of the legendary wheel-standing Little Red Wagon. Then we threw in some current Dragon folklore and mixed it all together. And from out of this concoction rose the Dragon Wagon, a hot rod truck for the masses. Okay, the first thing that we're going to do to this truck to make it a performer is suspension, because trucks aren't known to be great handlers. But we have got a solution for that right over here. This is a performance air suspension from RideTech. It's not only going to make that truck handle like a sports car, it's also going to lower it down, give it a much cooler stance. Now, this is a fairly simple system. On the front, we're going to be using what they call the Shockwave, and this is a combination of an air spring and a performance shock. And it's fully adjustable. You got adjustments at both ends. That allows you to adjust the compression and the rebound of the shock, so you can be driving down the street nice and smooth 1 minute, running a road course the next. Now, on the rear, we're going to use a combination of air spring and a performance shock, once again double adjustable, And of course, you've got all the hardware to put all this stuff in. Then we've got a self-leveling system. This means you don't have to be messing with your controls all the time. You get in, start the vehicle, it self-levels to wherever you have set it before. Then of course, you've got all the lines and hardware to put it in. Now, one thing that RideTech has come out with is called the Air Pod. Now, this is not just an air tank. The Air Pod is everything that you're gonna need to hook up an air ride system. You got dual compressors, you got valves, you got the tank, everything all mounted down on one board. If you have room in your trunk or in the bed of your truck for something like this is the way to go. It saves a ton of time hooking up an air ride system. Now, a lot of people have a misconception that an air ride system is just for slamming a vehicle down, cruising the fairgrounds. But as you can see, RideTech has proven the incredible handling capabilities of an air suspension with the road courses that they set up at most major events. Okay, with the truck up in the air, we'll go ahead and pull off the wheels. And get the stock shocks and springs out of the way too. You'll need to disconnect the sway bar end links from the lower control arm, unbolt the upper ball joint from the spindle, and remove the brake caliper. This will allow you to drop the lower control arm enough to get the spring out. While we were in there, we went ahead and pulled off the stock brakes and the front sway bar, and we'll show you why in just a minute. Now at this point, as you can see, we need to make a little bit of room here because the airbag is bigger than the stock coil spring. So we're gonna have to come in here and cut out this area right here. And a plasma cutter, a cut-off wheel, or an air saw will make quick work of those cuts. Once the modifications are done, just bolt the shockwave in place using the supplied hardware. All right, the sway bar is next, and even though the original sway bar is pretty stout, at 1.25 inches, it's not stout enough. We need something big. So we went to Hellwig Products and got one of their massive 1.5-inch front sway bars. Look at that thing. Of course, it's all hardened steel, and Hellwig's been building this stuff forever, so they know how to do it right. Of course, it comes with all the hardware to mount it, and it utilizes the stock end links. Now, the rear of the truck has no sway bar. We got to do something about that. So we went back to Hellwig and got one of their 7/8-inch rear sway bars, and of course, it comes with the hardware to bolt in place where an original sway bar should go. And that's it. The front shock waves are all installed and ready to have airlines run to them. The rear comes apart just like the front. And with the shocks and the springs out of the way, you'll need to shorten the stock bump stops and then cut off the top of the lower coil spring retainer. Now just bolt in the new air spring, followed by the shocks. All right, the last thing we're gonna do is bolt on this new rear sway bar from Hellwig Products. Now, like I said before, our truck didn't come with the rear sway bar option, but the threaded holes to mount a sway bar are on all these trucks. So if you want to add a sway bar, all you gotta do is buy one and bolt that sucker on. We'll finish it up with the special end links from RideTech. Hey, welcome back to Gearz and the introduction of the Dragon Wagon, a hot-rodded version of the Ram 1500 Express that we're putting together so we can go out and smoke some unsuspecting muscle cars with it. The best part is, you can do exactly the same thing. You just got to go out and get yourself an Express first. at this point, we've converted the truck to a full-on performance air suspension. Now it's time to mount this air pod into the bed of the truck, because this is what's going to control that performance air suspension. Now, the cool thing about the air pod is all you have to do is drill 4 holes, bolt it into the bed, and hook up your lines. Now, how you run your air and electrical lines is entirely up to you, but there are a few tips that you might want to be aware of. First of all, make sure there's enough slack in the line so that it's not tight up against the fitting. Also, make sure you're using some sort of clamp to hold them in place. That keeps them away from heat or sharp objects. Now, even though these lines are strong, they can always use additional protection. So we got this sleeving from Hose Candy. It's made out of Kevlar. It'll just slide on there, and it'll be held in place with heat shrink tubing, and it'll seal right down onto a line. Look at that. Now, anytime that you run a line through a metal body, you're going to need some additional protection, and that brings up this.
Now, quick tip. Brought to you by E3 Spark Plugs. Born to burn.
Most people know that when you're building a vehicle, you should always run your wires through a rubber grommet when you come through a metal firewall or a floor or some sort of a metal bulkhead. The reason being, take a look. Something like this is a fire waiting to happen, because not only is there not a grommet there, but there's too many wires for the size of the hole. So it's all pushed up tight against that sharp edge of the hole. And every time the engine runs, every time you hit a bump, anytime there's vibration, those wires are just sawing away on that sharp edge. And eventually, you're going to have a fire if you don't fix that. Now, people know not to build a vehicle like this, but what if you buy one that's like this, or over time the grommet has fallen out, like it did on this vehicle? Well, there's a simple solution to that. Check it out. Take a new rubber grommet that's close to the right size, cut it in half, and then start to work it into the hole around the wire. Then just cut off any excess rubber with a razor blade and finish the installation. And that is what they call a cheap insurance policy. If you'd like to learn more tips that will make your life easier and safer in the shop, check out the tips page on the website. Okay, while we've got everything apart, we're also going to do something about the brakes, because trucks aren't known to stop real well either. So we went to Bear Brakes, got a complete front disc brake conversion kit. Check this thing out. First thing you're going to notice are these massive 15-inch drilled and slotted rotors that absolutely dwarf what was once on there. That is amazing. Now, the calipers are just as impressive. You got a big 6-piston caliper that's going to supply a tremendous amount of clamping force. And the best thing is, Bear has designed these systems to bolt right in place of that. Check it out. The caliper bracket goes on first. Followed by the rotor. Then just bolt on your calipers, hook up the brake lines, and bleed the system. It's really that simple.
If you like cars, if you like coffee, you're gonna love Gearz coffee cars. Because in each pack, you'll find a special blend of rich, robust coffee to get your blood pumping, as well as a collectible cartoon sticker and matching photo card of some of the wildest vehicles Stacey has built or featured over the years. Collect the whole series and be sure to keep an eye out for the ultra-rare Strange Brew card that are added to random packages to keep things interesting. It's Gearz coffee cars, the best bean on the car scene.
Hey, we're back. And if you're just getting here, you have missed a bunch, because we are in the process of taking our brand new Ram 1500 Express and converting it into a hot rod street machine called the Dragon Wagon. Now, we've already put on a performance air suspension and slapped on some huge Bear brakes. And that's where a lot of guys have a problem, because most aftermarket brake systems like this will not fit a factory wheel. Fortunately, there's guys like Greening Auto Company out there that specialize in building custom wheels, so you'll not only have a look that's like nothing else out there, but they'll also fit whatever brakes you're going to use. So we had them put together a special Dragon wheel for this project. Check it out. The Dragon wheel is one of Greening Auto Company's 2-piece designs, and it features a forged aluminum chrome-plated barrel and a billet aluminum center. So these things are incredibly strong. Now the center has the styling that's reminiscent of kind of the old magnesium mag wheel like a Halabrand or an ET, but it's more modern with bigger windows and crowns on the spokes and of course the bigger diameter. Now, as we told you before, Greening Auto Company specializes in custom wheels. So whatever width, whatever back spacing, whatever fitment you need, they can do it. But they don't just do one-off custom designs. If you want a Dragon wheel, all you gotta do is call them up, they'll make them for you. Now, the size that we're using is 20 by 10s on the rear, 20 by 9s on the front. For tires, we knew we needed something that would handle some abuse. So we went to Falken, got some of these ZX ST-Z04s. Now, these are designed for light trucks and SUVs, so you know it's gonna handle whatever load you're gonna throw at it. But they also have the tread design and the compound to give you superior handling and traction whether you're running down the road in a rainstorm or laying into some curves on a twisty mountain road. These are a great all-around performance tire. And Falken's got the right sizes too. For the rear, we're using a big 305/50, and on the front, we're using a 285/50 because we want to get as much rubber on the wagon as we can. Now that is the way one of these trucks should look. Man, what a difference. Of course, the next step is to put some fire in the Dragon, but you're gonna have to wait to see that.
A successful automotive project takes planning and organization. But instead of using an old tablet or notebook, there's the Gearz Deluxe Project Planning Book. This was designed to help you lay out a project, the parts, the tools, costs, and keep it organized with colored tabs, a pouch for receipts, and even a place to attach photos. If you decide to sell the vehicle, it serves as a complete history of what's been done. If you have a project or plan on starting one, the Gearz Project Planning Book is the best way to lay it out and make it happen.
Hey, welcome to Gearz. You know, a while back, we had the opportunity to unveil a new truck from Ram called the Express, which is a short bed, regular cab truck with a 390 horse Hemi that anybody can get for around 20 grand. That makes this the perfect platform for a person to get and modify into what they really want, which is exactly what we did with this one. Take a look. Utilizing the Mopar catalog, a bed rug, bike and luggage racks, and a folding tonneau cover were all added to the bed to make it more functional for us and Domino. The interior was upgraded with catskin leather seat upholstery, and then a kicker stereo and media center, and various trim pieces were also added. The suspension was treated to an air ride system, and then further tweaked with bigger sway bars, bigger brakes, and custom wheels and tires. Finally, the body was fitted with a Challenger-style hood, and then some custom paint stripes were put on by the guys at West Kentucky Collision Center to give the Dragon Wagon a look all its own. There's only one limitation to an Express truck. With 390 horsepower, these things are fast, but they're not Dragon Wagon fast. And if you're gonna run with the SS Camaros, the SRT8 Challengers, and the Shelby Mustangs out there, you're gonna need more balls under the hood. And we're gonna get those with the Supercharger. Come on. This is the ProCharger system for the Ram trucks, and as you can see, there's a pretty serious pile of parts here. You got hardware, you got hoses, you've got superchargers, intercoolers, all kinds of stuff. And a lot of you guys are probably looking at this going, ain't no way, man. Well, before you say that, let me tell you this. This system will actually add over 130 horsepower to your vehicle on pump gas with only 6 pounds of boost. Yeah. Now, the way that this works basically is your supercharger compresses air to give you a more dense blast of air. The problem is when it compresses it, it gets hot. So ProCharger runs it through an intercooler. This cools the air down, so you've got a nice, big, dense blast of air that runs through the hoses into the engine. Of course, when you add more air, you need to add more fuel, and that's where these new fuel injectors come in. And that's basically how this system works. Now, some of the benefits of adding a supercharger is that you can drive this thing every day and never even know it's on there until you step on the pedal. You'll still get good gas mileage until you step on the pedal, and you can get it with a 5-year, 100,000-mile warranty, so you know it's going to last. The best part is, though, an average gearhead can put this in just a few hours. Here's how to do it. With the hood out of the way so you have room to work, the whole stock air intake system has got to go. Follow that with the engine cover, the belt, the grill, the coolant overflow tank, the horns. It all comes off. Okay, basically what we've done here is open up all kinds of room to fit this huge intercooler. Now, as you can see, we've got the brackets in place to mount the intercooler, and these upper brackets relocate the horns up here on top to get those out of the way, and then these lower brackets drop this power steering cooler out of the way also. So now all we have to do is bolt in the intercooler. The cooling system is the next thing to get a few modifications, and that includes installing the heater hose spout, the thermostat housing, and modifying the upper radiator hose. Finally, remember this crazy looking overflow tank? It looks like somebody's kidney? Well, we're going to reuse this thing, but this time it's going to mount over here on the driver's side using special brackets that come with the kit, which once again shows you how well engineered this system is. The next step is this big aluminum bracket that holds the supercharger in place. Now, as you can see, this thing is 3/4 of an inch thick, so it's not going to deflect on you. It's got all the pulleys in place. It even has its own belt adjustment system built right in. The best part is, though, this thing bolts right in place on the side of the engine. With the bracket in place, the next piece to go on is the supercharger, and it just slides into the notch of the bracket and bolts in place. Hey, we're back, and right in the middle of installing a supercharger into our new Ram Express truck to see if we can get it to live up to the legacy of the original Little Red Expresses that came out in the late 70s. The Little Red Express was a bright red step-side pickup with big chrome exhaust stacks, real wood trim, and one of the fastest quarter-mile times of any production vehicle at the time. However, today's muscle cars and imports are a lot faster than they were back in the 70s. But that's okay, because the new Express is a lot faster too. And with the addition of a Pro Charger, that's going to put the Dragon Wagon over 500 horsepower. And that's enough to peel the doors off of just about anything. Now, as you can see, we already have the supercharger and the intercooler in place. And the rest of the installation is basically just hooking up the hoses and the tubing. Those just slide into place and are held on with hose clamps. All right, as we've said before, there's a lot of air being blown into that engine now. So we have got to upgrade the fuel injectors to get our fuel system where it needs to be. Fortunately, they come with the kit. What doesn't come with the kit is a boost gauge and a fuel pressure gauge. But as you can see, Supercharger's got them, and it's definitely worth spending the extra money to get a pair of these so you can monitor what's going on with your engine. The new injectors simply mount in place of the originals using the supplied hardware. While we're in here, we're going to also upgrade our coils with these high-performance coils from MSD. Now, these don't come with the Procharger kit, but they're a wise investment if you want to get the most out of your ignition system. Okay, we have spent a lot of time doing things to help get more air and fuel into the engine. Probably wouldn't hurt to spend a few minutes doing something to help get the air out of the engine. And this catback system from Mopar is going to do just that, because it features a low restriction muffler that's going to give us better flow and a lot better sound. And you got 3-inch inlet here, dual 2.5-inch outlets, and big 5-inch polished tips, which are going to fit perfectly up in this area here and just dwarf that little 4-incher. This is how it goes in. The old exhaust system simply unbolts and drops out from under the truck. With some mild persuasion. The new system goes in just as easy and utilizes the stock mounting hardware. Now that's what needs to be sticking out of the bumper. That really looks good. And that takes care of our Supercharger install, ignition upgrades, and exhaust system. Now in the weeks to come, we're going to get this thing back together, upgrade the computer, and then we're going to go smoke some tires. Hey, welcome to Gearz. You know, a while back, we had the privilege of introducing the Ram Express truck to the public. Now the idea here from Ram was to offer a stripped-down, Hemi-powered truck to the masses so a person could take one and do whatever their imagination and budget would allow. Now, to show the validity of this idea, we took the very first Express, called it the Dragon Wagon, and then immediately tore the suspension apart to get the stance down and make it handle better. We followed that by sliding on bigger bare brakes to help us stop. And then threw on some Greening Automotive custom wheels and the fattest Falcon tires that we could fit in the wheel wells. That's Falcon tires for those of you that are taking notes. The bed was filled with all kinds of accessories to carry cargo, tools, toys, and of course dogs. And the body received a custom hood and paint scheme. The interior was next, and it was packed with leather, cat skin upholstery, and various other accessories from Mopar. Now at this point, we were ready to add some fire to the Dragon. So we shoved a Procharger and some hotter coils down its throat. And stuffed a larger exhaust in its tail. But then the fire just didn't happen. because we were missing one key element, a programmer to tune the engine to work with the Supercharger. And it wasn't just us. Everybody that owned a 2011 Ram or newer was out of luck because Ram was not releasing the codes to the aftermarket. Fortunately, the aftermarket always finds a way. And the guys at Diablo Sport have just come out with this Trinity tuner that will allow you to finally tune a late model Hemi engine just by plugging this into the OBD2 port and punching a few buttons. This is huge. Now, I know some of you guys are probably thinking, well, that's great for a stock engine. What about something like this that's been modified? Well, it's a little more involved, but it's still pretty simple. Check it out. By working with the Diablo Sport calibration team and their software, you can literally dial in the engine through a series of tests and tweaks until you get maximum horsepower, torque, and economy. Well, it's running, just not very good. Now that's starting to feel good. The best part is, Diablo Sports has dealers all across the nation that can do this custom tuning for you if you don't want to mess with it. Now that the final piece of the puzzle is in place, it's time to show you the potential of a base truck with a V8 and a healthy dose of aftermarket attitude. All right. On the road, the Dragon Wagon feels smooth and stable and turns in an amazing 20 miles per gallon, provided you don't stomp the gas too much. Around the cones, the lowered suspension, the sway bars, the wide performance tires offer tremendous handling for a truck, provided you don't stomp the gas too much. How about those Falcon tires? Stylistically, the regular cab short bed look is really cool. And other than the rumble from the exhaust, people will never know what's lurking under the hood, provided you don't stomp the gas too much. And for all-out performance, the Supercharger will give you the ability to smoke pretty much anything on the road. Which is plenty of reason to stomp the gas over and over and over and over again.